Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today on pipeline management with ActionGrid. We'll be starting in about 2 minutes. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar on pipeline management with ActionGrid. This is the final webinar in our Reconnect webinar series, so thank you so much for joining. Before we get started, I'd like to go over a few housekeeping items, just so you know how to participate in today's event. You will have the opportunity to submit questions to today's presenters by typing your questions into the question pane of the control panel. If you're also having any issues with audio or anything like that, feel free to post them there as well, and I'll get back to you throughout the presentation. However, we will be just collecting the questions and saving them until the end of the session, until the end of the presentation during our Q&A session. Okay, so now let me introduce you to our presenter, Aubrey McCarthy. I'm really excited to have her join us today. She's Conga's onboarding manager, but originally comes from sales and is a very heavy user of ActionGrid. And I think she has some great tips to show you guys, and also just some interesting ways that she's used it in the past.
Okay,
welcome,
cool.
Aubrey.
Welcome, everybody. I just want to give you a little bit of information about me and my team really quick before we get into the demo. So we are going to be demoing this in Classic, but using the Lightning user interface. ActionGrid is Lightning ready, but as the onboarding manager, I actually speak with the majority of our new customers, and we are finding that the majority of those people are still using Classic right now, so we're going to demo in Classic. So ActionGrid turns Salesforce lists and related lists and reports into actionable Excel-like grids. This increases productivity, improves user experience, as well as user adoption rates for Salesforce. It also allows you to digest your data quickly and filter and group, see relationships, and take action quickly on that data. So as was mentioned, I do come from sales, but I have great familiarity with pipeline management as I was managing my own pipeline. I've now actually moved into this kind of hybrid role that, you know, everybody's in sales, so I'm still in sales, but it's more operational and customer success driven. And so my team was actually using Salesforce reports and Chatter and just case notification emails to manage our inbound requests. And over the last 6 months, I've converted all of those processes to work exclusively off of ActionGrid. So I love ActionGrid. I presented at Dreamforce recently. It's made my life a lot easier, and I think that's part of the reason I was asked to do this presentation today. Okay, so we're going to go over a couple of things related to ActionGrid and pipeline management. We're going to show you multi-tabular grids in ActionGrid, show you the conditional formatting that ActionGrid can do, show you how to sort, filter, and group your data, information about additional columns and customizing your grid, and taking action. Okay, So action grids can go anywhere in Salesforce where a visual force page can go. So you can see I have multiple action grid tabs in this org right now for different things related to different objects. And then on this home page, I actually have an action grid embedded on the home page that's related to various things across different objects. So I have my open tasks, leads, opportunities, and a view of data related to all of these different things just right on my on my Salesforce homepage. But now we're going to move over to the Opportunities Action Grid tab that we've created. And we've created this as a multi-tabular action grid. So that means that within the action grid, I've got different tabs that show different things. So I started on all open action grid, or all open opportunities in my org. And then this is filtering specifically for a view of my opportunities open. Then as a manager, I might be concerned about, okay, what's closing this month? So this is automatically filtered for opportunities that are closing this month. And then we have other things here, opportunities without products. This is kind of a cool one because it's showing, oh, this is an opportunity in here that's missing a product, and it's filtered for that specifically, so I don't have to go hunt through my opportunities and find something like this. So this is all very, very useful and a good way to organize your data. One thing to note is that you don't have to have individual tabs to see your data in different ways. You can actually get to any of these views under the view dropdown in the menu at the top. Okay, so we've looked at a multi-tabular action grid. Say that 5 times fast. Let's take a look at conditional formatting. So you can see right here we've got some conditional formatting rules built into this grid. And I'm actually going to go give you a little quick look at how easy it is to just reorganize your data. So I know close date was way over here on the right. I'm just going to scoot it over and drop it. And now I can see it closer to the beginning of my view, and I can see some additional conditional formatting that I've got here. So you can see red, there's a little window that pops up that says overdue. So this is an opportunity that has a close date in the past. Also, these activity rules are things that are turned gray because the activity is low or no activity and it's in the past. So these are ways you can see really quickly with your pipeline exactly like which opportunities need attention. One cool thing about adding these rules too is that it's really quick and easy. So I can actually go to conditional formatting in my menu and do a new rule. And I might be interested, since it's the end of the month, you know, in opportunities that should be closing in the next 7 days. And I'm just going to select my close date. I'm going to change the cell to orange. This can go across the whole row or just on the cell. I could change my text color too. And I'm going to just select, there's some just baked into the product rules right here that are in the next X. And then if this example is, we're going to use days, but I could do next 7 days. So now if I close this, I should be able to see quickly, oh, here are the ones that are closing in the next 7 days. I created that rule that turns these orange. So might be a good time to take a look at these specifically and talk to my sales reps about that. Okay, let's see, where are we going next? So we talked about that this is a great way to sort, filter, and group your data in Salesforce. So right here, I've got the stage. So I can sort by stage. So now everything in all of these opportunities, all open, is sorted by stage. I can actually click this header and drag it up here. And now everything's grouped by stage. So that is very useful. I can see that I have 7 in the decision maker stage, 7 in needs analysis, et cetera, et cetera. And then I can expand these too. So I can take a look at, you know, all of these right here and say, okay, all of these ones are in needs analysis. These are the specific ones. And I can like click on that opportunity and see it over here. But I can also, you know, take action depending on what I might want to do, which I'll show you in a minute, based on these different stages. Another cool thing, I can just click and drag this, by the way, to remove that grouping. You can actually sort by multiple columns as well. So if I have this all sorted by stage, so prospecting, qualification, I can add an ascending or descending sort on these, basically on the sort. So right here I can go to the close date and I can right click and add a ascending sort. So now you can see the first three are prospecting, and they're also in order of, you know, what has the most recent close date up to the furthest out close date. And then, so basically, I understand that this is not possible using Salesforce reports out of the box right now. So this is unique to ActionGrid. Let's see, sort, filter, and group. One cool thing too that you might want to take a look at is if I want to do a mass update. Getting tongue-tied today. Maybe if I take a look at this, I can look at owners, group by owner of opportunities. Well, Bill Davis has actually left the company. So I can either change right here in ActionGrid the owner of this opportunity to somebody else, so me, for example, but I can also do a mass update. I can select multiple rows, and then I can fill down. Whoop, goodness gracious. My mouse got away from me, guys. Sorry about that. Let me reset those really quick. I can fill down. I'll do this on a larger group of opportunities, but you can see it automatically filled in the next one, and then I can hit save to save my data. So let me zoom out one more time. There we go. Okay, so let's look at additional information related to these opportunities. So I can take a look quickly at opening the reading pane, and I can select the opportunity I care to look at, and I can see a couple things that are related to this opportunity. So this AT&T opportunity, I can see my chatter feed. So if anybody's using chatter, this is a really easy way to see that. I can also see the opportunity products related to this opportunity. And I can add in line right here an opportunity product. So maybe I want to add an Amazon Fire TV stick with a quantity of 1. I can save this, and now it's updating right there on my opportunity products. I have 11 now items, and then the prices or the cost has gone up, or the value of the opportunity has gone up to $9.50. So this is really useful without having to actually click into the record and go and find my opportunity products and add a product this way. You can do it right there in line with ActionGrid. Okay, so I'm going to hide the reading pane so we can just see a little bit better on our screen. I want to click configure because I'm sure you're wondering, okay, well, how did you get all these fields in here and where did all these fields come from? So we have a configure menu that's pretty cool right here. If you open this opportunity field, you can see the ones that have been selected and are already here. Amount and everything is checked. And I could add additional fields by just clicking, and then it will add that ActionGrid or that field to the ActionGrid, and it's just going to be right over here. And maybe I care to see this closer to the front. So you can see that it's really, really easy to just reorganize and sort your data with ActionGrid on the fly. So a moment ago, we were talking about chatter, and one of the final things that we like to show with ActionGrid is how you can actually take action. So maybe I want to look at, I'm looking at my opportunities, or I'm looking at Aubrey's opportunities as the manager, and then I might want to sort by stage. And I can see that there's 2 here in qualification. So I could select these 2, and I can batch add a chatter. So I can say at Aubrey, please qualify. I can add that, and then it should go on the chatter on the actual opportunity. Looks like it may be taking a second to load. Oh, there it is, please qualify. So I've added something to the chatter without having to actually click into the record. Other things that you can do are batch add things like tasks. You could batch add opportunity products. Maybe there's all of the open opportunities must have support added. So you might want to batch add an opportunity product of support to all of the pending opportunities that are in your pipeline. Notes, tasks, other things like that. Okay. One other thing that we didn't take a look at really quick, I want to show you, is filtering. So right here, I have this view. It's showing all of the stages of my opportunities, except for we've filtered out closed won and closed lost because it's a pipeline, so we don't care about what's already won or what's already lost. But maybe as a manager, I'm only concerned with certain, these three, so I can hit filter, and now I'm only seeing opportunities in those stages. So let's see, what else are we missing here? Oh, the other thing is that I showed you those actions, and you can actually also add custom actions. They may require some development work, so if you have someone that is internal that could do that, or we have a professional services team that you could speak to your account manager about scoping out that work. But you could basically do something where you add a specific custom action here. For example, this isn't pipeline management related, but I use this to create projects. When a new customer signs up, I create a project to do their free orientation, and I have on my right click on my actions, I actually have one that says create project, and it creates the entire project for me in one click, which you can imagine saves a lot of time. So I think that I've covered most of the things that we like to go through, and I'm wondering if we have any questions from the crowd now.
We do. We did have some great questions come in. The first one is about, is the webinar being recorded? And yes, it is. So we'll be sending that out to all registrants after the webinar ends. The next question we had was about conditional formatting. So somebody was wondering if this can be done cross-field. For instance, if a stage is one thing and a closing date is another, then turn the box a color?
Yes. So that might require a little bit of writing out the syntax for this, but I believe I have a conditional format in here that is similar to that. So let me see if I remember. So it was old close dates. So this is an advanced conditional formatting rule that is similar to what you were just asking about. The stage name contains closed, or it's removing the stage name contains closed, and then also has a close date that's a new date. So that is possible. It's a little bit more advanced. If you have someone in your organization that can write this out, you could do this yourself. Otherwise, I mentioned our professional services team, and they would be able to, do that work for you if it was not something you could cover on your own.
Mm-hmm. And we do have some great support documents also that talk through about how to create these. One person had a question about, is there any functionality in ActionGrid when being used in Classic that isn't needed once they migrate to Lightning?
Functionality that is, say that again, that was when used in Classic is not needed?
Yeah.
I am unaware of anything that would meet those criteria. As far as I understand, ActionGrid works the same in both Lightning and Classic. The UI looks a little different. Like I said, we're using this UI, but there's nothing that I'm aware of that is different across the two versions of Salesforce, or sorry, Classic or Lightning.
Okay.
We can take that question though to our product team and make sure and let you know.
And then we had a question from Stephen about, does ActionGrid work with custom objects?
Yes, if the data is in Salesforce, ActionGrid can find it. So there is a tool called ActionGrid Explorer. We're going to go a little bit off script here. Everybody hold on to your hats. This is a list of all of the objects in the Salesforce org. It actually filters down for certain ones, so it's not such a long list. But as long as that object is discoverable in ActionGrid Explorer, you should be able to find the data on a custom object.
And then we had a pricing question. So is ActionGrid a separate cost to a new user when we purchase Conga reports, or is it part of the baseline package? We'll follow up with you and have your account manager follow up on exactly what that pricing structure would look like. And William had a question about, can you enter new opportunities with opportunity products at one time?
Add new opportunities with opportunity products. Okay, so you would add an opportunity, and you would add this basically, you would create the, actually, let me do this, make it a little easier to see. So you would add the opportunity in line right here. So I'd call this, and I could add an amount, let's just say it's 20,000, and a stage of prospecting. So I would save this. The way I'd recommend you do it is you would have your reading pane open. So you'd see that webinar opportunity, and then you would add in line right here. Let me take that question back to our product team and see about the best way to do that. If it was a standard opportunity, I believe you would be able to add, maybe use a custom action to add this. All these opportunities are going to have these specific products always, but due to the nature of, no two opportunities are the same in many cases, it may not be quite possible, but you still could do it all within one screen like this.
So our next question is about determining batch add options. So they're wondering if they can customize this easily, or is that development work?
Batch add options. Let's hide this. So if I were going to batch add a chatter, so basically, okay, there are some that are out of the box right here, and if there was something else that you needed to batch add that were not these specific things, then there would be some development work required. So I'm not sure what specifically you would be wanting to batch add, but it may require some development work. I'm not sure if you can ask back and see if there's more.
Yeah.
The nature of this is that it's quite customizable, so often sometimes those questions require a little more clarification.
And in terms of development work, it is like coding.
So if you have a developer in your organization that's pretty savvy, they may be able to do this. And again, if you don't have anybody that has either the know-how or the bandwidth, we do have that team internally.
And then we had a question about Jamie has a visual force page that she uses for product ads, and is that button available to be used within the reading page?
Within the reading page. Sorry, so she's using a visual force page, and she's wondering if it would be displayable here in the reading pane, I believe.
Yes.
It is, yes. I believe that that is possible. That is one that I'm not sure if it would require some development work or not, so we'll have to take that one back to the team.
And then William had a question about if we can see Pardot activities within the reading pane.
As long as, I'm not as familiar with Pardot, but as long as the information is in Salesforce, I believe there's a Pardot object, you should be able to see those activities, because if that object is discoverable by ActionGrid Explorer, it should be available.
Okay, I think we've hit most of the, oh, William got back to us on what that batch add would be.
Okay.
So to take a step back, so a batch add option that he would want to add would be something like a custom child object to a contact.
I believe that you should be able to do that, but it sounds like it might require some development work.
Okay, so William, we'll get back to you after the webinar with some information on how that would be set up. Okay. And it looks like we're going to end a little early, so thank you all for coming. We'll get back to the people that had some more in-depth questions, and thank you for your time today.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.